So I recently did a guest lecture at a university on human rights, and my conclusion was that human rights is. When I say human rights is I don't mean it's never effective, that you should never use human rights or human rights discourse. But what I mean by that is human rights is not something that exists independently of institutions. In fact, it is embedded in institutions. Institutions that are colonial, that are racist, that are misogynistic, that are capitalist, etc. And the problem that means for people who try to invoke human rights, I've been thinking a lot about this since the genocide in Gaza, when people try to invoke human rights, who gets recognized and who doesn't is dependent on those systems. So for instance, a Ukrainian whose house gets bombed will have a lot more of a hearing than someone in Palestine whose house was completely demolished or destroyed. And the problem here is, I think when we get invested in human rights, we kind of, hope for a lot from it. But I think what's more effective than continuously invoking human rights is to create our own system of power. Because if these institutions will not recognize human rights, we need to move beyond it. We need to really create our own forms of resistance. This is obviously things like going to protest, boycotts, creating systems of mutual aid to help people who are being persecuted based on their political beliefs, right? And human rights is just kind of a small tool. It's really just kind of a game. We say, oh, this person has their human rights violated, but that doesn't really mean anything if we don't have the power to back that up, because no court, no government, nor no politician is going to recognize the human rights of those who are most oppressed unless the oppressed rise up and develop their own system of power in resisting these systems. And that's why I think human rights is we keep talking about human rights, and I do think to a certain extent we do need to move beyond that and focus on what really this is all about, which is power.